This time of year, more than a few of you are looking to cut carbs, increase protein, and add a lot of veggies to your diet. I know because I'm getting a lot of requests for recipes across my desk. When I'm in that mindset, and sometimes even when I'm not, I reach for my omelet pan. Today, I'm going to show you how to make an American omelet stuffed with steak, peppers, cheddar, and topped with a bold flavored, fresh chimichurri sauce. Let's get started. Chimichurri sauce made its way onto our Tex-Mex or Southwestern tables via Central America, via South America. Back in the 16th century, Spain sent boatloads of cattle to Argentina, where it quickly became the country's main source of protein. The cowboys, or gauchos, who herded the cattle, invented this green sauce made from herbs native to their region for their cowboy cooked steaks. I'm going to start to make my chimichurri sauce by putting 6 big cloves of garlic and a cup of red onion in the work bowl of my food processor. And I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to process this 15 or 20 times. So it's all minced. Just quickly scrape down the sides of the processor bowl. Now what I'm adding is 2 cups of cilantro leaves and a cup and a half of fresh parsley leaves. And you can add any proportions of these, and some people make it with all parsley. Some people add fresh oregano. I'm going to add some dried oregano because that's the way my family likes it. And now I'm going to put this back in the processor and pulse again. Everything. Carefully remove the blade from the work bowl. And with the spatula, I'm going to transfer all of this mixture into a small, medium-sized mixing bowl. Now the reason I'm doing this, instead of processing it again in the food processor when I add all of this stuff, is this is the way it's authentic to Argentina, the way they're mixing this together, take it out of the processor and then add these liquid ingredients to it. I'm adding 3/4 of a teaspoon of dried oregano, white pepper, black pepper, salt, sugar, tablespoon of lime juice, 1/4 cup red wine vinegar. Just going to mix this all together. That lime juice really makes it pop. And a 1/2 cup of olive oil last. Give it a real good mix. And you can taste it right now, but I don't recommend adjusting any of the seasonings because this needs to be covered and go in the refrigerator for at least a 1/2 hour and up to 2 or 3 hours to give all of the flavors time to marry, and at that point you can taste it and adjust it for salt or sugar. Whenever I'm making a hearty stuffed omelet, I'm making an American omelet, which is a little bit different than making its thinner, more delicate French omelet cousin. And that means that unless you really want raw vegetables in your omelet, and some people do, you have to saute them first. And I put about a tablespoon of butter in this little pan, and I'm adding a 1/4 cup of red onion. I'm using red onion because that's what we put in our chimichurri sauce, and about 3 or 4 tablespoons of red and bell pepper. And I'm just going to let these saute for a minute or 2, put them on the back of the stove, and make my omelet. These have been on the stove for about a minute and a half. They're bright colored and crunch tender. I'm just going to put this to the back and mix up an omelet. In the same pan, I'm melting a tablespoon of butter, and I'm swirling it around to coat the bottom and the sides nice and light, not too much butter, back on the hot surface of the stove. In this little cup, I've got 3 eggs whisked with 3 tablespoons of cream, which is basically 1 tablespoon of cream per egg. and some freshly ground sea salt and peppercorn blend. I'm going to pour this into my pan. And unlike a French omelet, which is done fast and kind of furious, that cooks in less than a minute, a stuffed omelet is slower and lower. Take a little bit of patience. It still doesn't take very long, less than 5 minutes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, swirl, back to the heat, swirl. Now what you're going to notice while I'm doing this is how the side of the eggs are starting to stick to the side of the pan. This is what you're looking for. Now we're actually looking like the sides and the bottom are starting to set up. And I'm not going to lie to you, you're going to regulate your heat up and down, because underneath this omelet it's important to go up and down. I'm showing you the technique. Now we're getting to the point where you can see it's setting around the sides. And once you can start peeling back the sides of the omelet, this is where it's important to pick up the pan and go all the way around the sides, keep tilting, and allow all of the liquid juices to flow underneath your eggs all the way around. You want to get as much of that liquid. Keep going down and through. We're swirling away. Okay, now I'm going to put, and you can see this is still moist on the top. This is exactly what you're looking for. It's moist, but this is going to change as it cooks. I'm going to lower the heat just a little bit. And I'm going to keep an eye on the bottom, because at this point, no, we don't have browning and we don't want browning. What we're looking to do is just wait for these top eggs to get a little creamy. Don't be afraid to push them around a little bit. This is all going to be cooked through to the center when it comes time to eat. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the heat a little bit more. I'm going to add my cheese to half of this, and I'm adding 1/3 of a cup of cheddar, and I'm using habanero cheddar. It's really spicy, really hot. So that's going on half. I'm going to put veggies next, and veggies next is important because when the cheese melts, this is what's going to hold all the vegetables in place. The veggies are still warm, so they're going to help melt that cheese a little bit. Now we're just going to wait just another minute or so. We're going to look at the bottom. See how nice and golden that's getting underneath there? And I've got about 1/2 cup of thinly sliced flank steak, which I cooked earlier. It's still slightly warm. And all I did was put this under the broiler 10 minutes per side and let it rest. We're going to top that second half with a nice goodly amount of steak. Now I'm going to turn my heat off. With the aid of I'm going to try to do this for the camera here, Andrew. With the aid of a nice big wide spatula, I'm just going to lift this side, the unfilled side, over the filled side. Now I'm going to take this over, put it on a plate, and it's time to eat. Whether you serve it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, this omelet stuffed with steak, veggies, and cheese, topped with bold garlicky chimichurri sauce and lettuce and tomato to the side, is a lot better than just a steak on a plate. For these and all of my recipes, just go to my website.